Hi, this is Eric Turnipseed, the Director of Channel Sales for RedHorse Systems. In this video, we're going to take a look at RedHorse CRM and its integration with Google Gmail. So you can sync over your contacts, calendar, email to your smartphone or handheld device. So the first thing we'd have to do as the administrator is to set up that integration. And we would do that from the Administrator Toolkit, going into Settings, Integrations. RedHorse can integrate with Gmail, can also integrate with social media such as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and even integrates with Constant Contact. But for this video, we're going to take a brief look at Gmail Sync. Now, Gmail Sync, it's a service that needs to run on a machine on your network. It doesn't have to be the server, it could be a desktop, but I have the name of my machine that's running the Gmail Sync service. I can choose what type of logging I want, how often do I want to, how long do I want to retain those logs, and how often do I want it to sync. Now, Gmail, of course, controls how much data you can push to their system. So if you're syncing very frequently, you may get knocked off by Gmail because they can control how much data flows into their system. So we would suggest possibly a longer sync interval to start, and if needed, you could shorten that. But in this example, I've got Gmail syncing every 2 hours between the hours of 7 a and 7 p. Now again, that is going to be running, or that service is running on my server. So if I take a look down here in the lower right hand corner, I have a couple of stopwatch devices here, and if I take a look at the log file for the Gmail Sync, it'll open up my log file for Gmail and show me what's been taking place during syncing process. And I can also stop and start the service from here. But this runs as a service on the server. So if I go take a look at my services, and there it is. So right now I've got my Gmail Sync engine running and my RedHorse workflow engine running on this particular server. Gmail Sync is currently integrated and running. Now, user by user, you can control as to who can utilize that sync. So if I go into the administration tool and double click, say, on this user, Krista, I can go in and turn on whether or not she can sync with Gmail and whether or not she can manage her own settings. So I can either control that from an administrator perspective, or I can allow her to kind of control her own particular settings. And then each user can once you have enabled Gmail Sync for them, and if you've given them the ability to manage their own Gmail settings, then they can go into user preferences, and from there they can manage their Gmail Sync. So here you can put in your Gmail account information, username, password. You can control what you sync to Gmail. You can do either all contact records or a group of contact records. Depending on the size of your database, we would probably recommend a group of contacts, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And then you can control which user you're syncing and name you're going to sync. And here it tells me I currently have 470 contacts in my Gmail group, and if I look at that, I can see them all right in here. You also can control whether or not an update is made when a match is found. So I currently have RedHorse pushing to Gmail. I currently do not have Gmail pushing to RedHorse, but you could turn that on if you'd like. And then I've got a group in Gmail called My Contacts Group that RedHorse is creating for me when it syncs the contacts over. You also have the ability to sync over your activities. So you can pick what you want to sync, all your activities or only activities that are linked to the contacts that you've synced to Gmail. And you can set a default activity type for new activities from Gmail to CRM. So when you're scheduling an activity in Gmail, you have the ability to put in a guest email address. So if you're on the, say for instance, you're on the Gmail calendar and you go to add an activity, when you create that activity, you have the ability to put in a guest email address. And this is how it links back to RedHorse. So if you put in a guest email, say Christine. So that means she's now added to the activity in Gmail, and that's how RedHorse will put that activity back on Christine's contact record in RedHorse. And then you have the ability to choose. Now, if you schedule something in Gmail on your phone or smart device, it more than likely will send a meeting invite to that contact record. You have the ability to remove that guest email address from the event. Later, if you modify that activity in RedHorse or you put notes in that activity in RedHorse, it won't reinitiate that invitation to that guest email address. Another big feature of the Gmail Sync is the ability to capture those sent messages from your Gmail device or Gmail system into RedHorse. So if you're out and about with your smartphone connected to Gmail, you get an email from a client, you respond back to that email, that response can automatically go back into RedHorse and be linked to the contact records history tab. And again, Gmail can be enabled by user. It does not create duplicate activities. It's very easy to sync back and forth, and you can control that integration with the admin tools. Thank you.